As the days following the announcement unfolded, fans continued to share their emotions. Memes, heartfelt posts, videos of reactions and commentary poured in. The world collectively experienced a bittersweet moment. Kelly Ripa was leaving the TV stage, but she was stepping onto a different stage, the stage of personal fulfillment, romantic devotion, and true happiness. And the story didn't stop there. Kelly's announcement became a reminder that love isn't always convenient. It doesn't always fit neatly into schedules or expectations. But when it is genuine, it reshapes your world. It changes priorities, decisions, and even the rhythm of daily life. And in choosing Mark, Kelly showed the world that love, real, enduring love, is worth every risk. Her farewell wasn't dramatic in the sense of fanfare or spectacle. There were no pyrotechnics, no dramatic music cues. Instead, it was understated, emotional, and completely authentic. That authenticity struck a chord. People saw themselves in her choice. They remembered times they had to make hard decisions for love, for family, for something bigger than themselves. They empathized, they celebrated, they cried a little. And in that connection, Kelly Ripa's impact grew even deeper. Beyond the personal narrative, this moment also illustrated a larger truth about life in the public eye. Celebrities are human. They love, they struggle, they make choices that matter to them, even if those choices defy expectation. Kelly's decision served as a powerful example of prioritizing personal happiness, reminding everyone that it's okay to step back from what you know in order to embrace what feels right. Even now, weeks after the announcement, clips of her final shows, reactions from fans, and discussions about her decision continue to circulate. People are inspired by her bravery, moved by her vulnerability, and entertained by her wit. Kelly Ripa has always been a role model, but in this moment, she transcended the label of television icon. She became a symbol of courage, love, and authenticity. And love, after all, is at the heart of every great story. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos have shown that love is not just a feeling, it's a choice. It's a commitment to embrace the uncertain, to put someone else first, and to step into the unknown hand in hand. As viewers reflect on this bittersweet farewell, one thing becomes clear. Happiness is not measured by applause, ratings, or recognition. It's measured by connection, laughter, and the courage to follow your heart. And for Kelly Ripa, that heart has always been full of love, humor, and an undeniable zest for life. Her story leaves fans with more than just memories of mornings filled with laughter and entertainment. It leaves a lesson that it is possible to make bold choices, to prioritize love, and to live authentically, even under the brightest spotlight. In the end, Kelly's goodbye to television is not a farewell to her audience, it's an invitation to remember that love matters, that relationships matter, and that the people who truly make life meaningful are worth more than any accolade, any award, or any stage. So whether you were laughing at her jokes, admiring her interviews, or crying at the emotional farewell, one truth remains. Kelly Ripa's decision to leave television for love is timeless. It's romantic, inspiring, and profoundly human. And it reminds everyone watching that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is follow your heart, no matter where it leads you. And as Kelly and Mark step into this new chapter together, hand in hand, fans can only watch and wish them well, grateful for the lessons, laughter, and love she has shared along the way. Because when love is real, it doesn't fade when the cameras turn off. It lingers, it inspires, and it changes lives quietly.
There are moments
but
in
powerfully.
life that remind us just how unpredictable love can be. And then there are moments that remind us that even the brightest stars sometimes have to make impossible choices. Kelly Ripa, a name synonymous with laughter, charm, and morning television, recently shocked fans across the country. Known for her quick wit, infectious smile, and unmatched energy, she has been a constant in homes for decades. Millions wake up to her humor, her stories, and her ability to make every day feel a little lighter. But behind the camera, something profoundly personal was happening, a decision that would change everything. Fans watched captivated as she delivered her signature humor, witty remarks, and heartfelt interviews. They laughed with her, cried at touching moments, and admired her for her authenticity. But no one expected the announcement she was about to make. It wasn't scripted, it wasn't planned for ratings, it was raw, real, and deeply emotional. Kelly Ripa chose love over the spotlight. She chose to step away from the show that had defined so much of her life to be with the person who mattered most to her, Mark Consuelos. The revelation stunned the audience. Social media exploded. Comments poured in. Heart emojis, sad faces, and messages of support flooded timelines. Viewers couldn't believe that someone who seemed untouchable, someone who had mastered the balance between career and family, was making a choice that would leave the cameras dark and mornings quieter. But for those who know Kelly, this move wasn't just about leaving a television show. It was about embracing a new chapter. It was about prioritizing love, connection, and family over career demands, schedules, and public expectations. It was a reminder that no matter how glamorous life appears on screen, behind the scenes, real people face real choices, and sometimes love wins. Imagine the scene, the studio lights bright, the cameras rolling, and Kelly standing in front of her audience. Her smile, always radiant, carried a subtle weight that only those paying close attention could feel. There was humor, of course, but there was also a pause, a depth, a vulnerability that made everyone lean in a little closer. And then, in that quiet, intimate moment, she shared her truth. "I've been incredibly fortunate to share my mornings with all of you," she said, her voice calm but trembling with emotion. "This journey has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. But there's someone waiting for me outside these walls, someone I love deeply, and I've realized it's time to embrace that fully." The room was silent. The fans, at home and in the studio, felt the weight of her words. This wasn't a tease, this wasn't a hint, this was a declaration. Love, as Kelly experienced it, was worth more than the spotlight, the applause, or even the comfort of routine. Mark Consuelos, her husband and partner in life, has been a constant presence in her story. Their love story is one for the ages. They met on the set of a television show years ago, and their chemistry was undeniable. They laughed together, supported each other, and built a family full of warmth, humor, and devotion. Together, they have navigated the highs and lows of life, career, and parenting, always finding their way back to each other. And now, Kelly was making a public acknowledgement of that bond. By stepping away from the show, she was telling the world that love, true, unshakable love, sometimes demands courage. Sometimes it asks you to leave the familiar behind. Sometimes it asks you to choose happiness over everything else. Fans reacted immediately. Some were heartbroken at the thought of not seeing Kelly's infectious energy every morning. Others were overjoyed, sending messages of support and admiration. "We want her happiness," they cried. "She deserves it." And through it all, Kelly remained composed, showing the world that making the right choice doesn't mean it's not hard, it means it's real. But stepping away from television wasn't just about love. It was about connection, about family, about rediscovering the parts of life that sometimes get buried beneath work, fame, and expectation. Kelly has always been a devoted mother, a loving partner, and a friend to those around her. Her decision highlighted a truth many of us often forget, that life's most important moments happen off-screen, in the quiet, ordinary, beautiful parts of our lives. And there were lighter moments, too. Even in the middle of what could have been a purely solemn announcement, Kelly's sense of humor shone through. She cracked jokes, made her co-hosts and staff laugh, and reminded everyone watching that joy and love often exist side by side. Love doesn't always have to be serious. It can be playful, mischievous, and full of shared laughter.
Her decision also sparked reflection among viewers. What would they do if faced with a similar choice? Would they prioritize career, comfort, routine, or would they take the leap, risking certainty for the possibility of something deeper, more profound? Kelly's choice reminded everyone watching that courage isn't always loud or dramatic. Sometimes courage is quiet. Sometimes courage is stepping away from everything familiar to embrace what truly matters. Mark's reaction was as heartfelt as anyone could imagine. He stood by her side, smiling, holding her hand, sharing in a moment that was as romantic as it was life-changing. Their love radiated, not just through words, but through gestures. The squeeze of a hand, the glance that says more than language ever could, the laughter that reminds you why you fell in love in the first place.